iPhone 15 is official. Of course, you can buy it now, but one thing that's made me really excited about the iPhone 15 launch is how grateful I am for Samsung and their foldable phones, because I love the Fold 5. I like the Flip 5. I've been a big fan of foldable phones for a while, and when you see just the same old slab that comes out that I think they overcharge for, that's not jam-packed with features that you can find in Android, well, it really makes this look like an exciting phone. And that's one of the reasons I'm not a big iPhone fan. I feel like the phones are just boring. You get them, you can't really customize them. You can't even move your icons around where you want for your apps without messing up the entire page. You can't even change like the audio settings. There's just so much stuff. Apple knows better than you. So they set it up and you're just like, look, here it is. You have to use it how they want you to do it. If the regular iPhone, they don't give you 3 cameras. It has really slow charging. It took them like 10 years to give us USB-C. No 120 hertz, and they're charging you $800. Now, they had like, what, $300-400 off of the Z Fold 5 just this last couple of days. That was a pretty good deal. They had the Samsung sales and all that stuff, and you could get a Z Fold 5 for just like a couple $100 more than the iPhone 15 Pro Max. So when you're taking a look at like a $1,500 proposition for a Z Fold 5, you're looking at like a $1,200 proposition for an iPhone 15 Pro Max. That's a really thin gulf. I mean, $300, you get the S Pen, you get the big foldable screen, you actually get lots of cool things. I mean, 3 cameras on the back, of course you get that with the iPhone. And the iPhone does take good pictures. I think Samsung takes better pictures. The video capabilities on the iPhones are certainly good. And that's something I do respect and I appreciate, because right now I'm recording on my iPhone 14 Pro Max. I don't use a Sony camera, I don't use a Canon, I don't use a Nikon, none of that crazy stuff. This is so easy. I just hit record, AirDrop it to my MacBook when it wants to work, edit it, upload it. So it is nice for my workflow, but I don't like using them as phones. I much prefer Android. So this is like pinnacle, apex Android. And also you've got other things like the Google Pixel Fold, which whole other story, but that's what I love. Apple is still so far behind in the phone department. Samsung and Android are leading the way with foldables. And foldables are exciting phones. And what else you get? Oh, you get the S Pen. It is so nice having the regular phone. You can use the front screen on it, and then bam, on the inside you can use the S Pen. It's so nice. I use it to make my thumbnails every day. I use it for watching media, for multitasking. One thing that iPhone still just doesn't do is multitask. You can do all sorts of things. You can have up to 4 active apps open on here at the same time, active windows, which is nice. You've got multitasking stuff. It's cool. You can have all sorts of windows open. You can use the S Pen, 120 hertz. It's got good battery life. It's got the Snapdragon 8 Generation 2, which is fantastic. It's brought great battery life. It's lowered the thermals, the heat, the standby time is really good now. So it's really brought things a long way. I mean, I've got an 8-9 hour screen on time out of this, which is just uncanny for me and something I never expected out of this phone. So Z Fold 5, iPhone. Z Fold 5, iPhone. And I'm not trying to sell you. Like, I don't care. Go buy what you want, use what you want. But it's hard to deny that there's not been a whole lot of change in Apple. I mean, they gave us the action button, which they stole from Android, of course. It's funny, that's a feature that's been on BlackBerries for years and years and years. The convenience key. Yeah, it's been there on Android for a long time. BlackBerry had it with the BlackBerry Key 1. Well, now Apple calls it the action button, and they put it on their phone and replaced the mute switch. But that's not something that's necessarily new. We have the action button on the iPhone. And of course, we still didn't get the telescopic telephoto that we thought we were going to get. It does like some weird light refracting bouncing around in there for, wait for it, a 5x zoom, which you only get on the Pro Max. It's so annoying. If you buy the iPhone 15 Pro, you would think it's the same phone as the 15 Pro Max, which mostly it is, except it still has last year's 3x optical zoom on there. It doesn't have the new one. So they're screwing you over that way. And yes, 256 baseline storage, but hey, all the Samsung phones have that now, and it's great. Well, the S23, like the S23 Ultra, the Z Fold, the Z Flip, all that stuff, they've gone to 256, but you can still get $1,000 trade-in credit for the Z Fold 5, and last time I checked, they were still doing the free storage upgrade to 512. You know how much a 512 gigabyte iPhone 15 Pro Max costs? Like $1,400. It's crazy expensive, and that's not even factoring in tax. So they're crazy, crazy expensive. And yeah, you can get that with Samsung. That's something that was so nice, especially to do the trade-ins or pre-orders and things like that. If you compare the events, They had such a great thing going on, and they've still had it going on. They've had the free storage upgrade to 512, and they've still had the $1,000 trade-in credit. That knocks off a lot. If you look at the iPhone 15 Pro Max, the 15 Pro, they're giving me $650, I think, for the iPhone 14 Pro Max to trade in for it. Like, that's basically half of what I paid for it. I was able to trade in my S22 Ultra and get $1,000 off of this. We're talking basically a year and a half old flagship phone. So Samsung gives you great trade-in credit, especially towards their foldables and their flippables and all those great things. And it's just such a more enjoyable experience. You get all the flexibility of the 2-in-1 concept. You get the front screen. It's nice. Use it one-handed. It's beautiful. They've got 1750 nits brightness, and you got the beautiful interior screen. And what's nice about this is it's great. You can use it for multitasking, use it for doing a lot of things at once. Pull up the X app at the same time if you want. You can pull up. It's easy to switch over. Switch over to YouTube. You can switch back to Chrome. You can switch back to your phone. Like, you just do everything right there. It's so nice. And then if you want to multitask, it's very easy. You can just drag the icon, pull it right up here, and open up another window. And then you can control all of it right there with your S Pen. So I really like a lot of the stuff that you can do whenever it comes to Samsung phones. And I like a lot of the stuff that you get with the versatility. I like the foldable phone concept. I like that we've also got the big improvements with the hardware and everything. So they've made this viable. For years and years and years, a lot of folks are like, it's a gimmick, it's a gimmick, it's a gimmick. This is a fifth generation. Fifth generation. That means this is the fifth one. Z Fold, Z Fold 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now, I'm hoping that in the future we'll get some more improvements, like putting the S Pen inside of it. I know a lot of folks would like to have a little bit more screen real estate on the front. I get that. A little bit better cameras. We're still using the S22 series cameras, which take very good photos, especially with the computational photography and the AI updates and nightography and all that stuff they've added onto it. I got to tell you, I watched the event for this. I get excited about these phones. I think folding phones are exciting. I think the new frontier when it comes to smartphones. And then you look at Apple, we're just getting the same old, same old, same old. They're still charging a lot of money. They're still not even all the same features and capabilities a lot of times that you can get in Android. And this right here is so fun to use, as opposed to the boring same old iPhone. So I just want to make this video because I was sitting there watching the event. I fell asleep during the Apple event. Yes, I fell asleep. I was sitting there in bed. I had the event pulled up on my phone. And of course, I was planning on making a video afterwards. Next thing I knew, the event was over. I couldn't even make a video afterward. Of course, I had been sick for like the last week. But either way, so I fell asleep during the event. It was so boring. And there was like a 10-minute mock-up interview discussion with this Mother Nature person who was supposed to be in the environment. One of the most exciting things about Apple with these new phones is that they made so much of it out of recyclable parts, which that's great. I'm glad they're doing that. But that doesn't make for a very exciting phone experience. They added the action button. They bumped up the zoom, to 5 times. They invented ray tracing in gaming, which, if you follow Android and Samsung, you know that the Snapdragon 8 Generation 2 already does ray tracing. And it was already beating the A16, which is Apple's chip from last year, in gaming performance. So don't let it fool you. They haven't invented a whole lot. They just keep taking more things from Android, repurposing them, and then acting like they invented them. And of course, yes, they do have USB-C now. Congratulations, Apple and your iPhone USB-C. Welcome to the party. Glad you finally arrived, and we can use the same charging cable for everything. So, long story short, I'm excited about this phone still. I love the Z Fold 5. I love the foldable phones, and they're a lot more exciting than an iPhone. So that's all I've got in this video. Just wanted to talk about that because it just puts Apple's just not there. They keep making the same thing, and hopefully it keeps selling well for them. That'll be great, but they haven't entered into the world of foldables, and I think that Samsung and Android are just going to keep kicking their butt in that department, growing their market share, until, of course, Apple comes along and invents foldable phones, and then the world will go crazy. But for right now, it's Samsung's game, and they're doing a pretty good job. At least I think so anyway. So that's all I got. If you have any questions or comments or thoughts and feelings on the matter, of course, please go to the comment section. We can discuss it. If you enjoyed the video, if you found this helpful, please hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. As always, thanks for being here. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you guys next time.